While we are at it, let's go ahead and see how the data is prepared. So how I prepared the data, so let's go ahead and see that. So I looked for a lot of data sets across multiple places. So I was not able to find much. I looked for WikiSQL, I looked for GeoQuery datasets. So wherever I could, I looked. I found datasets where we have your natural language questions and the corresponding actual outputs. But I did not find anything that actually gave the intermediate SQL languages. So I wanted something to the exact SQL statements as such as an equivalent sentence pair. So when I try to look for it, especially for deep learning purposes, so what we require for deep learning is something that we can train with directly with the sentences against this SQL state. So as a natural language translation. So I looked for that approach. I searched for an option where you could look for a text to SQL conversion using deep learning. So that's when I came across this particular um, paper. So I was interested to know, like, how they did it, but more importantly I was more interested in what is the data set that they used. So I came across something called, they mentioned that spider, a new large scale cross domain semantic parsing text to SQL data set, is used here. So it's created and released in November 2018. So and especially it uses the basic sequence to sequence encoder to decoder model. So the basic encoder to decoder model is what is used in a natural language translation system. So it basically has two LSTMs, one on the left hand side, one on the right hand side. The STM on the left hand side basically is trained with one language and to encode the information in one language as a sequence. And the second LSTM can take that encoded information and decode because it's trained in a different language. That LSTM can take this input, the encoded input, and convert it into a different language. So that is the basic idea. So this term especially made me interested because that's what I was also looking for. So I went and looked for this data set. I did a simple Google search. It took me to this website. So right here at the bottom it says this is the URL where you can find this data set. So I'm just going to go into this data set path. I just downloaded this from here. So there was download URL. You click here for the data set, and go to the Git page and download it. So basically that's how I got the data set. So it's Google Drive download of 95 MB. So I'll show you the data set as it's got two important files. So especially the file that I'm looking for. So these are actually the bigger data sets, the train spider.json and train other.json. So I'll show you a format of this data set, so how it looks. So we have to convert this into our TSP format first. So that is our first step. So we are going to have to do that. So this is how it is. It's actually a dictionary. It's a list of dictionaries. Basically, so a dictionary that contains lot of information, like the database name, the actual query, then the query tokens. So tokens are like just a splitting of the actual query here. So if I just ignore this, then you will have the actual question here. So we have the actual English question and the corresponding SQL query right there, and and then you have question token. So that also I can ignore. So some of the things that we have here, and then finally we have an SQL kind of breaking down the SQL in different components. So which is also kind of something we can keep. Um, right. So starts here, ends here. I'm just gonna remove that. Remove those keys from the particular dictionary. So assuming that so this is what we have in the dictionary. So you can take the query key element from the query key and the question key, you got your sentence pairs basically. So what I did was I went into Spider, imported the files required. So this is the import statement. So I read the JSON file. So it read the JSON file into a data frame. So like you can see here, so file A is your train others and the data frame B is your train spider. So A's got 1659 rows, B's got 7000 rows, so totally we got around 8659. So what I did was concatenate A and B together here. So that's basically appending one after another. So you got a C data frame with all the entire data in it. So let me go ahead and open it, show you how it looks. So this is how the data frame looks. So the items that we are interested in, the query and the question. So that makes your sentence pairs. So I'm gonna just ignore the other things here. So first thing I'm gonna do is just write this data frame into an Excel sheet. So C to Excel, I use the command C to Excel, write it to a data sheet, Excel sheet, and so the rest of the things is something that probably already you saw. So I'm just gonna open this file, um, train spider others.xls. So that basically contains all your sentences. So once I open it, so basically what I would do is save this as a tab delimited file. So that will actually make this sentence pair with tab delimited between them. And because it specifically asks for a .tsv file, I'm just going to open it again in a notepad, save it as with the extension .tsv. It just changes the file to .tsv. That's how we get this tsv file, and we upload this. So that's how we get the dataset.